I'm not even gonna bother to do like an introduction or, you know, anything silly that I would usually do, because right now my anxiety level is like at an all-time high. This was supposed to be a Black Panther review slash reaction video, but something just happened to me where I'm just like, I kind of don't feel like being like all extra and, you know, fun today. Like, I'm just not really in the greatest of moods. The funny part is I had just got done watching Black Panther for the second time so that I can prepare myself more for, you know, my review. Because I always feel like when you watch something or do something a second time, or when you watch something or you read something a second time, you know, you catch things that you didn't catch the first time. And so that's the reason why I went to go see it again. And plus, it's a good ass movie, and I wanted to give the people who made Black Panther my money. Basically what happened to me was I got followed. At least I feel like I got followed. I'm gonna tell you what happened, and you kind of determine whether you feel like, you know, this was strange. But this was strange to me. Like I said, I went to go see Black Panther, bought my food, headed to where it was playing, the theater. Now, automatically, when I go to the theater, if I'm not with friends or anything, or if we haven't picked a seat, I always go to the back of the theater, because the closer I sit to the screen, my eyes start to feel uncomfortable. So I'm like, let me sit in the back like I usually do, or at least sit furthest from the screen if there's, you know, no spots in the back. But there was, the theater was kind of empty. I'd say there was like maybe 10 people in there. So there was a lot of seats available. So I sit like the second row to the furthest back. While I'm sitting down, I'm eating my food, the trailers are playing. I noticed a guy, a bald guy, we're gonna call him Baldy, walking up the stairs. And, you know, he's just walking up. I don't think too much of him, thinking he's like every single person coming to see this amazing ass movie. He comes and he sits down. Mind you, again, I'm in this, there's the back, all the way, the end back row. I'm sitting in the second back row, you know, and he sits all the way up there. He sits like, I'd say like 3 seats away from me. Like, I think he's like sitting in the aisle. I'm kind of like a little bit inward from the aisle. So I'm not thinking much of him. So eating my food, I had a burger and fries. I had a burger, fries, and popcorn, and so, or juice. Eating my burger first. While I'm eating my food, I noticed that he gets up and he moves closer to me. And I'm thinking, like, in my head, I'm like, whoa, that's a little strange, because there's no other people, you know, beside him. You know, there's no one in his row, there's no one in my row. I'd say maybe 3 rows down is when you get the next set of people who are watching the same movie. So I'm just like, that's very strange. Like, why did he get up and move closer to me? So I'm just like, at first I'm like, I didn't think much of it, but then something in my gut was telling me, like, girl, you need to get up and move. Something's not right in this atmosphere. At first I was gonna ignore that feeling, but then the feeling just kind of kept nagging at me. So I'm like, okay, you know, this obviously, I don't know if it's God telling me, like, girl, you better get up. So I was done with my burger, and I decided this would be a good opportunity for me to get up, go throw what I have to throw away, and then just pick somewhere else in the theater to sit. So while I get up and throw my trash away, I'm walking down the aisle. So I get to the end of the stairs, and, you know, there's the seats next to the stairs. I notice there's another gentleman. He's sitting, you know, in the seats closer to, like, the exit, like the little to get out. And, you know, I didn't pay much attention to him. I just was like, I noticed this dude is there. It wasn't too dark yet, because, like I said, it was the trailers that were playing. So I was just like, I could kind of see, but not really. I throw my trash away. I come back. I sit closer. Now I'm not sitting all the way in the back. I'm kind of like sitting closer to the center, kind of like close with everybody else, because, you know, now I have people around me. Whereas before, like I said, it was like 3 rows of nothing before you could get to the next person. So I sit down, have my popcorn, started eating my popcorn, and just chilling. Didn't even think much of the guy. I'd say about 5 minutes pass. I hear like footsteps, and oh, let me kind of backtrack a little bit. Mind you, before I even sit down, before I even get up to throw my trash away, there was something that was playing, and then it was transitioning to the next thing that was playing. It was like a weird long transition. This is so weird. I noticed that there was like heavy breathing coming from this guy. So I'm like, why is that? I think that's what made me feel like something's not right. Cause I'm like, why is he breathing so like heavy? So that was another weird thing that I kind of picked up. So anyways, so fast forward, we're back to the new spot that we're sitting. And 5 minutes later, I hear the footsteps. The bald guy is literally walking down the stairs. And he sits where the second guy that I noticed when I was throwing my trash away, he sits right next to him. And that immediately made me be like, something is not right. Because I have this philosophy in my head. When you are traveling with someone, you came in together, you leaving together. And my opinion is like, if you came with this guy, because then again, I wasn't paying attention prior to this dude coming in the theater. I wasn't really paying attention to anything. I was just eating my food. I don't know if he came with this guy, but to me, it's just like, if you're sitting with this guy now, if you came with this guy, wouldn't you originally sit with him? Why is it that when I move, then all of a sudden you go sit with the guy in the front row? So again, it was like making me, it was like creepy to me. So now I'm like mad aware. I'm like, okay, something's not right. You know, something is just very strange with this fellow. But at least I'm around people and he's not near me. So I'm like, I'm not too worried about it. So the movie starts and I'm watching the movie. And like I said, because I'm watching it for a second time, I'm catching things that I did not catch the first time I went to go watch it. Because again, I'm trying to get more information so that I can give you a good video about how I really think of Black Panther. While I'm watching the movie, I'm also kind of like looking at the dude in the front row to make sure, you know, he's not doing any more strange things. So I'm also gauging the reaction of the rest of the people that are in the theater. So I'd say when the movie started, there would probably be like 25 people in the theater, the most. And, you know, I'm gauging their reactions and, you know, they're reacting the way that I would think you would be reacting when you watch a movie for the first time, especially a movie with that type of hype. So I'm gonna make an assumption that everybody in the theater, or at least a good majority of the people who came to watch Black Panther that day or that evening, this is their first time watching it. This is just my assumption. I could be dead wrong. They could be watching it a second, third time like me, but I'm just going off of just my opinion. And I'll tell you, there's a reason why I said that. So 10 minutes before the movie ends, because again, I've watched this already, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of like, bro, I just want to go home. I don't really want to see the ending, you know. So I'm just like, let me get out of here. So I leave. I get up, I leave. I open the door to get out, and I'm in the hallway now. The first person I see is this movie attendant, this white movie attendant. I'm assuming, obviously, he works for movies. He had a suit, and he had a clipboard in his hand. He kind of looks at me a little strange, and I'm heading to leave because I'm like, let me go home. But then I'm like, let me pee first, because every time I go to the movies, I always have to use the restroom because I drink so much. I couldn't find the bathrooms. I'm kind of walking. While I'm walking, I notice the movie attendant is just looking at me like, what the hell is she doing? So I'd say I'd probably walk a few feet from where the movie was playing, and I see the men's bathroom. So I'm like, okay, the men's bathroom is here, so the women's bathroom is obviously across. So I kind of slightly turn my head and I see the women's bathroom sign. So I'm like, let me head to the bathroom. I turn my whole body around and I look behind me. The bald guy is literally walking behind me. I kid you motherfucking not. He is walking, not all like close to me, but he's like a few feet behind me. I'm like, something is not right. Something is not mixing in this little thing that we're concocting. Like, it's just not right. So I'm like, what the hell? So I dash to go to the bathroom. So when I get to the bathroom, I tell myself, self, and myself said, huh? I said, after I finish using the bathroom, if I see this guy standing there and he's looking at me, I'm gonna go to the movie attendant and tell him, like, this guy's making me really uncomfortable. Like, he's been like acting strange, and I'm like, can you have somebody walk me to my car at least? I was gonna do that. Finish using the bathroom, go up back out into the hallway. I don't see this guy. I'm looking around. I don't see this dude. So then I'm like, okay, I have this app on my phone, and I strongly advise anybody, but especially if you are a woman and you are ever in a situation where you're by yourself. I am not sponsored by this app. They don't know me, but I seen this on YouTube itself, and I thought it was a good idea. It's basically like an app, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, where it's like you put your thumb on this thing. If you're ever in a strange situation or you feel uncomfortable in a situation, you put this thumb on this thing and you hold it until you arrive to the destination that you want or where you feel safe, and then you let it go. And it starts counting down to like from 10 to 1, and you basically have a passcode that you put on the thing to stop it from counting down, because once it gets to 1, then it will alert the police to your location. And it's only $2 a month. If you have $2 to spare, if you can spend $9 on Netflix and $9 on Apple Music and all this money, $30 on Fashion Nova jeans, then you could spend $2 every single month for this app, or whatever, how much you want to spend on safety. So I advise, I think it's called SafeTrek or something like that. I advise, like I said, for anyone, but like I said, especially any women out there, again, if you're in a situation where you're alone, please download this app. Please use it. If they even have free apps, I don't know, I just choose to pay for that one. You know, use that app. So I get out the bathroom, I don't see this guy. I pull out my phone and I put my finger on the button to, you know, whatever, to make sure, like, at least, again, if something happens to me, at least the police will be notified. I would hope the police would be notified. So I put my hand on the thing. So I'm like, once I get outside, don't see this guy. The whole time I'm walking, I'm like literally looking around to see if I see this guy. So then I take my finger off the button, and I'm like, let me call my brother so that I can, because at this point my anxiety is like super duper high. I'm like, let me call my brother, you know, because if I hear like a familiar voice, like if I hear like a voice that I know, then it'll kind of calm my nerves. And then also I'm talking to my brother. If something happens to me, he'll know that something is happening to me. So I called this idiot. Doesn't pick up the phone. I FaceTime this idiot, doesn't pick up the phone. You know, and I'm calling him because even if he doesn't pick up the phone, you know, at least like I can keep calling him until I get to my car, you know. So I'm calling him until I finally get to my car. I get inside my car, lock the door, back out, and start driving out. You would think that this would be the end of this story, but there's a little bit more. So while I'm driving out, obviously you're gonna pass the theater, the front of the theater, and you know there's like the little railings and whatever. I noticed, kid you not, bro, I noticed this Baldy, the same dude, literally sitting on the railings, and he's looking like towards like the movie theater, like he's waiting for someone to come out the door. I'm like, yo, nah. Thank God you left when you left. And that's the funny part too. Another reason why I left early for the movie was because of the guy as well, because I didn't want him to like come up to me or approach me while everybody else was leaving. Like, I was just like, let me kind of get out, because he's probably like, if he was trying to, you know, do something horrible to me, at least, okay, I'm leaving early, kind of throw him off, even though he did what I thought he was gonna do, was get up and leave as well. But I was like, I'm not gonna wait till the movie's over, let me leave now. But when I seen this guy sitting on the railings, I was like, and he's looking around like he's searching for someone. He didn't have the second guy with him, he was by himself. So I'm like, yo, something is not right. But I had left, thank God I had left. So it wasn't like there was no way in hell he was gonna see me. I don't know if he was sitting on that railing waiting for me to come out and he was gonna follow me. I don't know. I couldn't tell you this guy's intention, you know. I mean, I automatically called one of my really good friends and I told her what happened. And then my other good friend called, well, I called her the first person, but she didn't pick up. So I called the second, no, actually, shout out to Shanine. I called her, but she was at work, but she called me back. And then Stephanie, I called Stephanie. She was busy, but then she called me back. And I told them basically what happened, and they both agreed, like, this guy was strange and acting strange. So I was like, at least I know I'm not crazy. But, you know, there was like, they were telling me it was good that you left, you know, because I'm telling you, when you have a feeling something weird is happening, or you're in a situation where it's not normal, or you see someone just acting weird around you, just go with your instinct. If your instinct is telling you to get out of that situation, get out of that situation. There's a reason why we have these things called instincts. If we want to take it from a religious standpoint, this could be God telling you, get up and go. Leave this situation, because if you do not, something bad is going to happen. And so I'm gonna be like, and I tell people I'm not the most religious person on this planet, and you will never hear me really talk about religion on this channel, like my personal beliefs in God and things like that. I'll probably make videos about growing up in the church, but I would never really talk too much about God. But just know that, like, I have to thank him sometimes for just always protecting me, because it's so quick to be, you know, and especially in this crazy ass world, people are shooting people for no reason, people are kidnapping people, raping people. Just the way we treat each other as a society is so disgusting and heinous. It's like, I could understand why, I believe there's other life forms out there. I could understand why other life forms wouldn't even F with us, because we just treat each other so bad. Sorry for the background music. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, women out there, especially if you are by yourself, and if you're in a situation by yourself and you feel something weird is happening, first of all, I tell you to get that app. I think the app is called SafeTrek, something like that. I'll link the app below. Get the app. If you don't feel like spending $2 every single month, then if you're in a situation, call someone on the phone until you feel safe, you know, to make sure that you arrived in your destination. But just go with your gut. If you know something strange is happening, go with your gut. You know, don't sit there and be like, oh, it's not gonna happen to me, it's not gonna happen to me, because anything can go left in a second, and you don't want to be a victim. You don't want to be on the news, you know, turning up missing or turning up dead. I always go to the movies by myself. People are asking, why you went to the movies by yourself? I always go to the movies by myself. I went to go see Get Out by myself. I went to go see It by myself. But usually I go during the day. I never go at night. Just go with your gut feeling. You know when someone is acting weird, know when someone is acting strange. What would you have done in that situation? I guess comment below, you know, what would you have done?